Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Cody Loper, and this week we're going to be talking about hand technique. So first things first, what we want to start off with hand technique is actually choosing the proper sticks for the music we're playing, or kind of what feels comfortable. So the first thing you guys usually want to do is pick sticks that you feel super comfortable with. So sticks that you're going to feel comfortable with is something that you just naturally pick up a pair of sticks. You're like, oh, that's got a good weight to it, it's got a good feel to it, it feels completely natural. Okay, so but not necessarily is that natural stick pair meant for every genre of music. So usually when you're playing like jazz or funk or something on the lighter side, like maybe like a samba or a bossa nova, you want to choose a lighter stick, so something like a 5A or a 7A. If you tend to do more like heavy metal, progressive rock, just regular rock and roll, usually kind of want to lean towards a heavier stick, maybe like a 5B, a 2B, something along those lines that are going to be heavier and more durable. Also, the stick is quite important because the reason that we want to choose heavier sticks is because we want to produce more sound throughout the drum, and the heavier the stick is, we can hit the drum without with all the power that we need, but not necessarily losing our hand technique. And then on the other end, when you're playing like jazz and funk and stuff, the lighter the stick gives you more of the speed. So with that being said, let's actually get into some hand technique. So what I recommend for this tutorial is actually right here I have a pair of Vic Firth SD1 Generals, and the reason I say you should pick this stick, just because it's a heavier stick, and just kind of like if you're going to go to the gym, you pick up weights and you lift weights, and the heavier the weight is, the more that you're going to build muscle, right? So same thing with drums, okay? So the heavier the stick we are, so this is a marching stick, and the heavier that my stick is, the more I'm going to be tearing my fibers and growing the muscles. So in my fingers, in my wrists, in my elbows, and eventually up into my shoulders, okay? So usually I would recommend people using a heavier marching stick just to start out. That way you're building the muscle and you're building the technique part of that, okay? So first things first is, how do we actually hold a stick? Like when I take a pair of sticks in my hand, how do I actually hold these things? Picture it like a baby bird, like you just picked up a baby bird, right? You don't want to squeeze it really, really hard and really, really tight, okay? I don't want to death grip it, okay? Because if I death grip it, I'm going to squeeze the life out of the bird, right? But I also don't want to be so loose with it that the bird flies away, right? We want to keep that nice, even balance to the stick, okay? And when we do is we're just going to wrap our hands around the stick, okay? So our next point is going to be our fulcrum, okay? The part of the stick in which we get when we hit the instrument, or in this case our practice pad, you'll get the rebound you're looking for, okay? So our fulcrum is going to be created between our pointer finger right here and then our thumb, okay? So what I want you to do is, everybody has the lines right there in your fingers, right? Okay, and usually where I wrap mine is right there on my second line. So I'm going to stick my stick right there on my second line. I'm going to wrap it around my finger. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, while I'm holding my stick, I'm just going to place my thumb on here. Okay. This is going to help me maintain control of the stick. Okay. If I push my thumb to where you get that white ring right here, you're death gripping it. You're too much. Okay. So I just want to hold it lightly, just like the idea of the bird. Okay. So when we're talking about what our other fingers do, okay? So if this is our fulcrum point, this is our fulcrum point where we're hitting the drum and we're getting the proper rebound, okay? What is the rest of our fingers doing? Our rest of our fingers are wrapping around the stick, okay? Keeping not all that pressure on the stick, right? And what we're gonna do is, this is gonna be our level, okay? So on our fulcrum, when we hit the drums like this, our stick's gonna rebound naturally all the way up here, okay? Our fingers, when we wrap them around, are going to level our stick, not making the stick rebound all the way up here, right? Cool. So the next part of this tutorial is actually what I want to talk about is the technique part. So if we all know how to hold a stick, okay, we're wrapping it with our pointer finger and our thumb. Okay, we're actually going to use a special technique. It was developed by Sanford Moeller, and it's also called the Moeller Technique, if you've probably most likely heard this. And this technique basically is the idea of using your downstroke and then your upstroke to create 2 beats, okay? So in our normal single stroke, when we hit the pad, we're just coming down. This is called our downstroke, okay? And we're using the lever of our arm, okay, as our elbow, right? Having this motion right here, right? Okay. The Moeller technique actually uses the shoulder joint, your elbow lever, and your wrist lever all at once, okay, to get a proper rebound. So when we're talking about our downstroke, so we're hitting it with our downstroke, and we're allowing our stick to rebound, just like we were talking about that rebound part, right? So we're allowing our stick to rebound off the pad using our Moeller technique, okay? So when you get really comfortable with that, we're going to move into this thing, into doubles, okay? So a double is 2 strokes with the same hand, okay? This is a single, that's a double, okay? 2 strokes with the same hand, okay? And that technique I just used for doubles is called the Moeller technique, okay? So when we come with our downstroke, we're going to allow our stick to rebound, and when it rebounds and comes back down to the pad, we're going to lift up, okay? And it's more of your fingers pulling the stick into your palm, okay? And when we pull the stick into our palm, we're going to hit it on this fleshy part of our hand, okay? So when we pull the stick up to our palm, hit it in the fleshy part of your hand, okay? To where you're getting the proper rebound. So our downstroke, downstroke, rebound, upstroke, downstroke. Okay, that's the Moeller technique, right? So we're hitting up on the downstroke, coming up on the rebound. Okay, now when you get more comfortable with this, and so when we use our, when you get more comfortable with this, it'll become a lot easier, and you'll need the speed part. So on the speed aspect of it, what you need to do is stop using so much of your shoulder and your elbow. Okay, because when we use our shoulder and our elbow, we're using our power part of our body. But when we're going for speed, you want to use more of your fingers and your wrist, okay? So when we're doing the Moeller technique, it becomes our limiting ourselves, okay? So a good trick to do, and just to use your wrist, is you're going to put your other stick over your wrist, okay, like this, and you're going to just flop your wrist down, just like this, okay? We'll know we're doing this wrong when we're doing this, okay? When our stick is starting to move in our other hand. Some of the other hands lifting up and down like this, okay? That's how I know I'm using my elbow too much, okay? So we're going to just keep that stick on there, okay? And you're just going to move your wrist, okay? We're just going to do single strokes, okay? And when you get to the double stroke, okay, you're going to use your rebound with the first stroke, and then when you come up, you're going to pull it with your fingers. So if you guys, you're going to pull it up with your fingers. So down with the stroke, right? We're going to release our fingers down like this. Release our fingers down, then pull it in. Release our fingers down, pull it in, down, pull it in, down, pull it in. Okay? So this idea is for speed, right? So when we get into more complex music or different genres of music, we're going to need more speed. Okay? So when we're doing it, and a key point to when we're doing it is you want to stay as most comfortable as possible. Okay? And so you don't want to be flailing your arms out like this. Okay? You want to keep it right here, nice and tight. Okay? And I mean, if you need to flare out your elbows just a little bit to get that control part, then you can. But just you want to keep it nice and tight. Okay? And you want to keep your arms at the same level as the drum. Okay? So I don't have my arms up here. I'm not flailing my arms down. I'm keeping them down here by my waist. It's very natural, very comfortable position. Okay? Most of the part about drumming is your own unique individual style, okay? And each person's going to do it differently. And when you are doing it differently, you need to understand that, you know, you look at all these professional drummers and you look at myself, even included, you know, we all have our different styles of way of doing things. And you need to incorporate your own style, but with good technique, okay? So my next note would be for you guys is so the way I just taught you to hold a stick is called match grip, okay? So this is called match grip, okay? It's the most, this is called match grip. It's the most common grip, but when we're talking about grips, you guys, there's two separate grips. There's the match grip and there's traditional grip, okay? On the traditional grip, what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna turn our left hand, okay? And we're gonna place it between our thumb and our pointer finger, right? Just like that. And we're gonna pinch it with our thumb, okay? And the idea is to use your wrist and your thumb to stroke down like this. Okay? And what I'm doing is I'm flicking my thumb forward. While I'm doing this, I'm flicking my thumb forward and I'm slightly rotating my wrist. Slightly rotating my wrist and flicking my thumb down, okay? And the reason traditional grip is important is because when we get into more complex music, especially jazz, it's actually kind of frowned upon in the jazz community to actually use match grip like this, okay, compared to traditional grip. It's just an old habit that a lot of drummers have, and sometimes people won't give you actually a gig or a performance because of the fact that you don't know traditional grip. So I would learn traditional grip. It's not easy. It's not something that's going to come as natural as the match grip. Okay, traditional grip is something you have to work towards. But right now, when you're starting, you need to learn traditional grip. It's very, very important. Okay. As far as singles and doubles go, you can actually do singles and doubles a lot faster in traditional grip than you can do in match grip, in my experience. That might be different from either drummer, just like I said, each drummer is different, but in my experience, I feel traditional grip is easier to do doubles and singles in, and you know, you can flow a lot easier around the kit, making it easier to perform and not maybe get so tangled up. So please learn traditional grip. Okay, so more on traditional grip would be this. So we're pinching it down, and what I want you guys to just do is I want you to get the rebound part. So you're gonna lift your hand up almost completely flat like this and throw your stick down into the pad, okay? And just let it bounce up, a rebound just naturally, okay? And I want you to start not using so much of your wrist to do it, but use your thumb, okay? The thumb is your fulcrum point, just like the matchstick was. Your thumb is the fulcrum point that we really want to focus on, okay? And I just want you to practice this over and over and over, okay? And when we get that pretty steady and pretty fast, what I want you to do is I want you to add your ring finger right here, okay? And you're gonna lip it under the stick, right? You're gonna place it right under the stick, okay? Just like that, okay? And this is gonna help us maintain control a little bit easier, okay? It has a place for the stick to stop, okay? And not so much rebounding like this. It's got a place to stop, okay? And it helps us with our stick, okay? Once we get comfortable with this and holding our stick and allowing it to come and bounce off our ring finger, we're actually gonna take our middle finger and we're gonna place it right over the stick. This is also just a comfortability thing. It allows the stick to fall right into a hole and, you know, allows your stroke to go straight down, okay, instead of like all over the pad, okay? So next, for our level part, just like our fingers were our level, okay, our pointer finger is going to be our level in this case. So we're going to wrap our pointer finger and make a T. So we're going to make a T with our thumb and pointer finger, okay? So if I got my T up like this, okay, now I'm just going to place my stick right between, just like that, okay? And I'm going to put my stick resting on my ring finger, okay? And now my finger is my level, okay? See how I'm not rebounding like this? Now I'm just doing this. Okay, this is my level. Okay? Awesome, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be producing one next week about rudiments and what that looks like. Just take your time at home to, you know, learn the things that we talked about today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.